So today we're going to be looking at wiring or getting the wires ready, I guess, for the stops, to wire the stops to a connection strip. As you can see, when I did the demo on here, I did leave the existing wiring there just so I could have a reference to what wires were what when I got ready to do this. And as you can see, I've on this first set of stops up here, which is actually, I think, the choir stops for the choir manual. I've already undid the wire management, pulled these out just to kind of see what was what. And I have taken off of this first stop. Just kind of taking this stop off to kind of look at it, but I put it back on. So as we talked about, these stops are motorized. However, for right now, we're not going to use the motors just because of the connection strip and encoder that I currently have. So I'm going to leave some wires there, and I'm going to go ahead and use the existing wiring that was there because that will be easier than unwiring and rewiring because it's already all done for me. And even though they've been cut, they're going to work because the encoder and the connection strips are going to all go on this board right here. So the wiring is going to work for that. So currently, if you'll notice, there are 3 different color wires. There's a green wire going to the top motor. There's a pink wire down under there, which goes to the bottom motor. And then there's a yellow wire, which goes to, if I can show you here, the contacts. And sometimes these contacts get a little bent out of place, but that's okay. They bend right back in place to where when the stop is activated, it touches the contacts, and that is what will close the circuit and make the stop work. So what I'm going to do, if you'll notice on that, I've already done this one, but if you'll notice on some of these, well, on all of them, the yellow wire is actually connected to both posts of the actual stop action. Try not to block the light there. Let's see here if I can get down to that one. Here we go. You see when the stop is activated, touches the wire which are connected to both those posts. So what we're going to have to do is just simply cut that connection right there between the two, because we got to have a positive and a ground, and like I say, I've already done that on this side, which means we will need an extra wire. However, like I say, the wires are here. So since I'm going to not use the motors, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the green wire, I'm just going to gently unsolder it and move it down to the other post for the actual stop action. So I'm going to go through and do all of that on those, and that way I can use the yellow and the green wire to wire up the stops, to make the stops work. I'm going to leave the pink one in place so that later down the road, when I get ready to actually wire up the motors, I'll at least have that pink wire still in place down there, which is actually the harder to get to. And then all I'll have to do is go back and add a wire to the top motor. So that's what I'm fixing to do today, and just get this ready to wire to the connection strips. There's a lot of them to do, and I will go ahead and continue undoing the all of this wire management to get these loose, and then they'll look like these, and I can lay them right up over where they're going to go onto the connection strip. So I'll get one done, and then I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, well, so as you can see, this first row I have completed. It's ready to be wired to the connection strip anyway. As you can see, I moved the green wire that was up here on the top motor. I just moved it down and soldered it to the other post for the actual stop action itself. Of course, these were connected. I cut all of the little connecting strips between them so they can function separately. So now when you cut a stop on, probably might have bent some of those out of place again as I was doing this, but cut a stop on, it touches the two connections there, completing the circuit between the now yellow and green wire. And those two wires will just be soldered onto the connection strip. There will be two wires as opposed to a single common line for every 8 stops. It was just easier to do it this way. Just mean a little bit more soldering, but probably a lot less time consuming than going across and connecting 8 grounds together. I think this was just easier, and it'll come together a lot faster. I did save these pink lines. They are still connected to the bottom motor. So when I get ready to wire up the actual motors, I'll still have that one line. Then all I'll have to go back and do is connect another line to the top motor, and then that will be able to plug into a decoder to actually operate the motorized stop. But the stops will work for now, and they'll certainly work with help work, just like this. They'll just be manually operated instead of motorized, which is fine. So I got the, like I say, I got the choir manual done. So now I've just got the swell, the pedal, the grate, and then the generals to complete. So it shouldn't take too long. Definitely not going to take as long as unwiring all of this and then rewiring it, especially since the wire's here and the connection strip is going to be sitting right here. I can just use these wires, make it a lot simpler. So I'll do that, and when I'm done, I will check back in. Alrighty, as you can see, I have the stops all prepared to be wired to a connection strip. Gone through each little section, like these are the generals. Moved the green wire from the top, as we talked about, down to one of the posts. Separated the posts, which were wired together on the yellow line. They were connected, so those had to be separated. Got them moved and got them all ready to be wired to a connection strip, which will then go to the encoder. The pink lines I did keep. Those are the wires to the second motor, the bottom motor on each stop. So kept those, and we'll have them whenever we do get ready to wire up the actual motors for the stops. So that's it for now. As far as the stops, they're ready to go. Group just kind of zip tied together for now. Just kind of keep them together, the groups together, and keep them from getting tangled up. However, once we wire them to the connection strip, I'll do a little bit better cable management at that point. But this right here, like I say, keeps them from all getting tangled up together and keeps each group together just for easier reference once we're ready to wire them.